I don't walk around in tight clothes. I stay at home for most of the time.
You go out in public and it's a fucking embarrassment to me. You look like a fucking bitch on heat. And if you get raped by a pack of niggers, it'll be your fault.
Whoopi Goldberg on The View yesterday was defending Mel Gibson. You know, I think Whoopi Goldberg is a great addition to The View, but she pisses me off sometimes. Well, she pisses me off a lot for this very reason. When she's giving her opinion, I know she's the moderator and all, I get that. But when she's giving her opinion, she speaks as though after giving her opinion, no other opinion really needs to be said. Because when a person speaks behind her, if they're agreeing with her, she'll nod her head and she'll let them talk. But if they're saying something different from what she just said, her response back, she doesn't say this, but it's almost like, did you not hear what I just said? I just corrected you. I just gave you the right method to sort through this thing. I just gave you the correct view. I just told you the proper way to see this thing. How dare you still have an opinion after I've offered mine? How dare you have an opinion that doesn't agree with mine after I've given mine? That's kind of the way she actually presents her opinion. Well, anyway, Mel Gibson, you saw his ridiculous rant on, or you heard about it. Well, yesterday on The View, they were talking about Mel Gibson's rant, and this is what Whoopi had to say. I'm gonna play this, and then I'll explain to you. I guess I'm about to do what I just accused Whoopi of doing. I'm going to play a clip, and I'm going to tell you what to think about it.
But I know Mel, and I know he's not a racist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. He may be a bonehead.
Well, that language certainly sounds racist to me.
Well, again, I have had a long friendship with Mel. I just want to clear
the point that I want to make out.
Let me finish this, please. Is that you can say he's being an bonehead, but I can't sit and say that he's a racist having spent time with him in my house with my kids. I can't say it. And so I really just need to say that.
Okay.
You know, I don't like what he's done. Make no mistake. This is just...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go...
Anti-Semitic? Do you think he's anti-Semitic?
I think he's an...
When somebody says to the police officer, the Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world, that's not anti-Semitic?
You know what, Joy? Let me tell you something about drunks. Drunks say stupid stuff to people all the time. All the time, because they're drunk. They're out of control. They're not thinking. They are idiotic. That's why I don't like alcohol. I can't say anything about that because I know what people are like when they're drunk. This rant, I don't think he's drunk.
Yeah, he doesn't. Now, let me, for those of you who didn't hear the rant, I'm not going to, I have one to play today, so I'm not going to go and play that all over again from yesterday. But he was speaking to his wife, or I guess they're getting divorced now, so I guess it's not his ex-wife at this point. And he's telling her that if she goes and gets raped by a pack of niggers, then she deserves it. Now, let's just, for a second, Miss Gold. Well, what time is it? Yeah, Whoopi, that show's over with, so theoretically she could be listening. Or maybe she's a subscriber to the podcast, and what you all should be at SirDarryl.com. So let me just explain something to Miss Goldberg in case she's listening. You see, Miss Goldberg, when someone says something like, if you're raped by a pack of niggers, you deserved it, in order to process that inside of the brain before it goes out, a person would have to, in their own mind, equate the niggers that they're speaking about, and most people who speak about niggers are talking about black people. They would have to equate the niggers that they're speaking about with animals in order to then put a pack of as a qualifier to the niggers that they're speaking about. So you have niggers in the first place, which is a derogatory term, and those people that use that term towards black people are usually not putting black people in a position where they are respected. So the mere fact that they're using that word means that there's a disrespect there for black people in the first place. A pack of whatever it is that you're talking about. You could say a pack of let's say for instance he said a pack of wolves. The mere fact that you're using pack means that you're talking about a group of something that's uncontrolled, a group of something that roams together, a group of something wild. Now, since he then put niggers after that, to say a pack of niggers is to degrade the people that he's speaking about, which happen to be black people, in a way that's just wild. Now, the mere fact that he came to your house, Miss Goldberg, and sat down with you, and sat down with your daughter, doesn't mean that he's not racist. It simply means that he, A, is either able to get past that, or B, he doesn't consider you and your daughter packs of niggers. Now, I mean, as weird as this might seem, there are people that are able to look at people who have made a certain level of success, and they don't see them in the same manner that they see the other people that are similar to them. So Whoopi Goldberg is an A-list celebrity. To Mr. Gibson, she might not be a nigger, or she might be one that he's able to deal with, because perhaps she's a lot more cultured than the niggers that he's used to seeing or working with or having worked for him, you see. But someplace in his brain, someplace in that mind, is still the mentality that we're looking at right here. And alcohol just brings out what's actually there. Alcohol takes what you normally wouldn't say and allow you to express it without the same feeling of guilt or feeling of pain. It doesn't change anything about what's actually there. If it were not there, it couldn't come out in the first place. Alcohol doesn't allow people to just conjure up things that don't exist. I'm one of those people that I don't really get upset when I hear what Mel Gibson said. In fact, I mean, seriously, and I'm not joking here, I appreciate what Mel Gibson said. And I appreciate knowing the mindset or the mentality of people. See, I don't want this stuff hidden. If somebody's looking at me and thinking, look at that nigger, I would prefer to know that that's what they're thinking, so that I can know how to effectively deal with them. If I know what's going on in your brain, then it's less likely that I'm going to make some sort of a mistake. If I know that you're thinking this nigger behind the microphone, then it's going to be less likely that I'm going to try to spend any extra valuable time with you, because it's just not necessary. And I also think that it's dangerous. We're living in a more dangerous society for all people, when people have to walk around and pretend that they don't think something in order to not hurt other people. I think it becomes very dangerous as a society to walk around this way, thinking things that you're not able to say, because you're creating false friendships with things that are people that you shouldn't necessarily have friendships with, or you're inside of a relationship that's unreal. You think you have a friendship that you don't have. Why? Because you're unable to look past that wall of what those mindsets are, and you're looking at an illusion that does not exist. I think that if people spoke more honestly with one another, marriages would be stronger. Yeah, more marriages would break up, and some marriages would never happen in the first place, because the husband and wife were simply honest with one another, and they were able to utilize real information in order to make a decision as to whether or not they should marry, because they didn't BS one another under the illusion of lust. But when you start shutting people up because you don't like what they say, yeah, that might be fine for a second, because you don't have to face the actual ugliness of things. You don't have to face the actual reality of things. But in the long run, you're going to have a completely different problem. You're going to have a much different problem in the long run, because people will be establishing friendships that are false, because they can't really tell you what's on their minds.